Hey everybody, Mike here with Delta Faucet. Today, I'm gonna walk you through some operating and troubleshooting tips for your Delta Touch2O with Touchless Technology bathroom faucet. Now this technology is awesome to have within the bathroom. However, with any technology, there are some times where the functionality issues may arise. So hopefully in this video, I'll be able to cover a tip that will get everything fixed up for you. Now first and foremost, we need to determine if we're talking about a new install of the faucet or an existing install. If this is a new install of the faucet and you're having some functionality issues, I want you to stop right here and go check out the separate install video we have for that, because a lot of those issues can be related to something that happened during the installation process. We just want to make sure everything underneath the sink is perfectly okay. However, if this is an existing install and you're just now noticing some new functionality issues, stick around and let's walk through some troubleshooting tips. First, I want to walk through the operation of the Delta Touch2O with Touchless Technology bathroom faucet. First, whether you're using the touch or the touchless technology, we need to make sure the handle of the faucet is in the on position. Now, if you're using the touch functionality, it's just like the name implies, we're going to touch the faucet anywhere to start the flow of water, and then again to turn it off. Now, the touchless technology is going to work slightly differently, where it's going to function off the proximity of my hand to the faucet without me actually touching it. So when my hand comes within about 4 inches of the faucet, it'll start dispensing water and continue to do so while my hand stays close to the faucet. I can tell it's in touchless mode right now because that LED temp sense light at the bottom is slowly pulsing. When I remove my hand, it'll continue to dispense water for a few more seconds and then shut off automatically. And also, the faucet will only register when my hand is close to the faucet, not if I'm just passing by, because it wants to ensure that you actually want water dispensed. And remember, this is a faucet after all, and I can always just grab the handle and turn it on and off like I normally would. One of the cool things about this faucet is you can actually enable and disable the touchless technology. To do that, I want to make sure the faucet handle's in the off position, and then give it a few seconds to clear. And then we're going to tap the faucet 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and look for the LED light to flash. As soon as it flashes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 more taps. A second flash means that proximity is now off. So if I have my faucet with proximity off, you see now the faucet will not dispense water when my hand's close to it. Now, if you want to re-enable the touchless technology, we're going to do the same thing as before. 6 taps, wait for the flash, 6 more taps, wait for the second flash, and now that technology will be re-enabled. Now, if you're noticing some new functionality issues with your faucet, the first thing I want to check is your batteries in your battery pack. If you see a red flashing light at the base of your faucet when operating it, this indicates a low battery situation and it may be time to replace your batteries. Also, I want to confirm that all of your batteries are installed in the right orientation. Even one battery being flipped around the wrong way will still allow your faucet to function, but could be causing some of your issues. Next, I want to check to make sure that your battery cap is installed on your battery pack in the correct orientation, just confirming that the positive and negative indicators on the top of the cap are aligned correctly with the positive and negative terminals of the battery in the pack itself. Also, I want to check the location of the battery pack, making sure that it's placed flat on the ground and towards the back of your cabinet without contacting the side or the rear walls. I also want to make sure that nothing's coming in contact with the battery pack, that nothing's pushed up against it or stacked on top of it. And also now is a great time to check the battery wire as well, making sure it's not coming into contact or close proximity with anything metal like your supply stops. That could be causing that interference. If you are having issues with your battery pack or your solenoid, you can always go ahead and put your faucet into manual mode. There's 2 ways to do this. The first is to bypass the solenoid totally by removing it from the outlet tube and then connecting the spout tube directly to the outlet tube. And the second, and what I think is the more easy way, is to actually turn on the water on your faucet, then come underneath and just remove the cap off of your battery pack, and now the faucet is put into manual mode. Now, if you're experiencing a low flow issue from your faucet, there's 2 main areas I want to check. The first is the aerator located on the end of your faucet up underneath here. First, I'm going to turn off the handle of the faucet, and then also stop up the sink to make sure that I don't drop any small parts down the drain. Next, I'm going to remove the aerator using the aerator wrench that came included with your faucet to gently unscrew it from the bottom of the spout. Once I have that out, I want to visually inspect the aerator to see if I see any debris that needs to be cleaned off. Once everything looks good, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it on the end of my spout and check to see if that solved my flow issue. If it didn't, there's one more spot to check, and that's a screen located in the solenoid itself underneath the sink. To check this, I'm going to uninstall the solenoid from the outlet tube. If you look down at the top here, there's a little screen that I can grab with some needle nose pliers and gently remove it. Here again, I want to visually inspect it and clean off any debris I may see, and then reinstall it carefully, just the same way I uninstalled it. Once I've done that, I'm going to reattach my solenoid to the outlet tube, and then come back up top and check the flow of water to see if either of those things resolve my issue. Now, if your faucet is experiencing a sensitivity issue, we need to check for a source of interference. First, let's check on top of the counter, making sure there's nothing metal that's too close to the faucet itself, such as like a can of shaving cream. If everything looks good up here, we're gonna check underneath the sink, checking your battery pack, making sure it's far enough away from the side and back walls, and nothing underneath is sitting on top of it or coming in contact with it. Next, also check your battery pack wire, making sure it's free and clear of anything metal that could be causing the interference, such as your supply stop, or if you had a metal P-trap and drain. Also, be sure to check your sense wire that goes from the solenoid to the shank on the bottom of your faucet. Again, making sure it's not coming in contact or close proximity with anything metal, and also the shank itself, making sure it looks like it's free and clear from anything that could be causing the interference. And also, it's a great idea to visually inspect all of your wires at this point, making sure nothing looks like it's getting kinked or pinched in any way. Finally, I want to talk through if your faucet is turning on and off all by itself, which I know is kind of weird, but is what's known as a false activation. Basically, something is interfering with the faucet and sending a false signal to activate it on and off. We just need to identify what the source of that interference is. Hopefully we wrapped it up by checking our battery pack or battery cable in the previous step. We're also looking for some source of metal that could be causing that interference, but also keep in mind it could be caused by something electronic, so just make sure there's nothing electronic that could be sending that false signal. All right, hopefully one of these tips in this troubleshooting video was able to solve the issue you're having at home. However, if you're still having the issue, the good news is that Delta prides itself on customer service, so be sure to reach out and they'll be more than happy to walk you through the steps to get it resolved. And don't let this troubleshooting list scare you. The technology is great and a lot of the checks are very easy, and it's worth getting it fixed because the technology really is a game changer when you have it in your bathroom.